Start. So today, I want to make a toast to believers and hope. We have one of the first believers with us today, and I'm extremely proud to announce that Frida Lewis Hall, who at the time of the birth of this incredible journey was a chief medical officer and worked with Lara Sullivan, who was the then head of Pfizer Cures. And when we talked to them, the answer was, we are in. Let's do this. Let's help us. But please, can you help us make the connections? We will rally the Pfizer team. And it happened. 200 volunteers for 2 years to get all the data, to get the investors aligned, and in 2017, to announce the birth of this wonderful company called SpringWorks. Lara Sullivan started as a CEO, and then there was a new team of believers, the team of Saqib Islam, and Uche, and Deb, and Kim, and Jim. They pushed and pulled. And together with another believer called Chris Mortel, they got to where we are today. We wouldn't be able to do this without the incredible support of board staff, donors, because with committed philanthropy, we can turn dreams into treatments. We're not done. We still have other manifestations. But today, we have yet another treatment and yet another beacon of hope for the NF patients and their families. I promised I would keep this short, but I would like to hand it over to my first friend and guest of honor, Frida Lewis Hall, who started this endeavor and was the first believer. The next believers are Uche and Chris, who pushed and pulled to get us to where we are today. And to conclude, we have invited another guest of honor, Diane Owens, who will talk what this means and what the impact is of this incredible achievement for our patient community. So with that, first, Frida, my friend, thank you for joining us, and take it away.
Well, it is my honor and my absolute pleasure to be here with you today. This has been an incredible journey, and I could think of no other individuals and organizations than those of you who are on this call and who have been in this work for these many years to be on this journey with us. Sometimes I like being able to say, oh, I did it. And sometimes I like being able to say, oh, they did it. But my very favorite is, oh, we did it. And that's what we have the opportunity to talk about today. SpringWorks Therapeutics, born out of Pfizer Cures, as Annette just explained, started with an idea of a new way to get things done with and for patients. It's been a tremendous team effort, and we and our partners, all of you, are excited to see it come to reality. I couldn't be more excited than to have an opportunity to serve in the way that we are with the approval of mirdametinib, Gomekli. So excited about the ability to look at our partners and give hugs and toasts to talk about this incredible moment. It is a true success story about how the industry and patients and patient organizations can work together. I want to do a special thank you to my buddy Annette, who from the very moment that this was, I thought, a really good idea, that she was all in with passion and care and willingness to work night and day to make this happen on behalf of the patients that she serves and their families. And I want to thank her again and again and again, as I hope I have since 2016 when we first went on this journey, to let her know how grateful I am for her personal support. I want to thank the Children Tumor Foundation, who has been an incredible organization to support every single step of the way. I want to thank the entire NF community for participating in the clinical trials so that new medicines like Gomekli can be developed and to reach FDA approval. And again, I want to thank each and every one of you on the call today who are here celebrating. And I hope see this as proof and opportunity for future ways in which we can bring more and better to patients who are in need.
So thank you so much, Frida.
I was going to hand off to you because I was going to say that who I didn't thank was the Springworks team, which has just been incredible. The effort, the focus, the commitment, the passion that you all have shown each and every step of the way against all odds. And to have this moment to share with the team is just incredible. So over to you.
Thank you so much, Frida. Let me say something, and I hope I don't embarrass Frida. When I started my journey in industry, I was a very young clinician who had left clinical practice. Frida was one of my first mentors at Bristol Myers Squibb. And it's just an amazing thing that I've come full circle to work for a company on which she continues to have an impact and continues to mentor me. So Frida, thank you so very much. It's a great pleasure to share this platform with you. Let me start by thanking everyone on this call who's made a time to be here with us today. This is an incredible moment. PD901 became mirdametinib, and it's now Gomekli. What a moment. What a moment to celebrate. What a moment to take time and just reflect on what it takes to take an idea that was born out of an advocacy of a passionate group like CTF and people that listened to them at Pfizer Cures and turn that into another opportunity, another option for patients and families who sometimes feel hopeless because they have nothing to turn to. This is why we do what we do. This is why companies like SpringWorks and many others exist. This is why CTF exists, to bring hope to patients and to families that struggle with devastating diseases. So my journey at SpringWorks started in 2018. And I want to take a moment to thank Saqib Islam, our CEO. Because I met with Saqib in a small restaurant. That time, SpringWorks really had no office. It was a restaurant in Darien, Connecticut. And that's where I had my interview with Saqib. He shared a vision, as Frida mentioned, to bring a company to birth that would do things differently, right? And would always keep the patients at the core of everything that we do. At SpringWorks, we care hard. And we live that every moment of the day. And nothing makes me more proud to be here today than to say, on behalf of SpringWorks, congratulations to everyone that's been part of this journey. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. When we started trying to run this clinical trial, we didn't know anybody. We're a very small company. No one knew us. It was to CTF that we turned to make the introductions to the investigators and to the clinical trial sites that became part of the ReNew study. It was to CTF that we turned during the execution of a clinical trial when a little thing called COVID hit the world and everything ground to a halt. It's easy to forget how terribly uncertain those moments were. If not for the work of CTF and groups like the NF Network, the clinical trial would never have enrolled on time. So these are important milestones that when I sit back and reflect on this journey, that make me incredibly proud as a physician, as an individual, as a human being, but more importantly, as a Spring worker. We pride the collaboration that we have with the external world out there, and CTF is a prime example of that. Let me just conclude by thanking a few people. Annette, I gotta thank you. You're very passionate about what you do. You've led an organization that has consistently excelled at what you do. I keep telling folks, CTF is a model of what a patient advocacy group and a medical research group should look like. You advocate for science and you listen and you help where you can. So keep doing that. I also want to thank all my fellow Spring workers. There's so many of you who have been around. Some have left the company. The work that you did over the past 6.5 years led to today. You deserve credit as well. But I have my last thanks for the patients. The patients. You give your time to participate in clinical trials. You spend time when you're not even sure that the drug will become available to you at the end of the journey, right? This is all because of you, right? And I particularly want to thank Diane, who's gonna speak later on, because I met Diane and her son Alex. What a trooper, right? The day I met Alex, that was a reaffirmation that we're in the right business. So to everybody who's in part of this journey, thank you so very much. And let's keep working till we end the NF. I'm going to ask my good friend Chris Motel, who was the PI of the RENEW study, to take her from here and share his own thoughts and experiences.
Thank you, Uche. And thank you to CTF, SpringWorks, but I'm going to shout out especially to our patients, our adults and pediatric patients who participated on this trial, their families. Every one of them was thinking about themselves second. They were all thinking about what they could do for future patients with NF1 with plexiform neurofibromas. They were all thinking about the NF community and how they could contribute to a cure. And so to all of them, their bravery, their character, their perseverance through this whole clinical trial, thank you. And going back as a longtime NF practitioner and researcher, I remember PD-901 when it first appeared in our laboratory at the University of Minnesota, and a CTF-sponsored young investigator picked up that drug and gave it to mice with NF1, and we saw responses. And we knew right away that this drug had a future. And then not long later, Uche showed up here in flyover country and offered us an opportunity to participate in this trial for our patients. And our relationship with SpringWorks really established itself then and has grown ever since. And SpringWorks is not only dedicated to mirdametinib and this study, but they are truly dedicated to the NF community. And for that, I am very thankful. So again, thank you to CTF, Annette, who has always been a great advocate for us. Thank you to Uche and the SpringWorks team. And thank you to the patients and families who participated in this trial. It's a great day, and we're grateful for it. Thank you. And okay, and next is Diane.
Thank you, Chris. I echo the appreciation that has already been set forth. I mean, I could never, as a parent of a child who has NF, express or find the words to CTF and to SpringWorks and the people that work there every day. We'd be here for hours if I had a list, the names of the people that we've been blessed to meet throughout the years. But I've spent the past 12 years watching and waiting, right? As a mom, you always look to minimize the challenges that your child has, and anybody who has a loved one with NF knows that challenge very, very well, because we never know when the other shoe is going to drop. We never know what options are going to be available when we find out whatever the challenges are. And a few years ago in 2020, a lot of that hope was renewed because we had options for our kids, but then we reset when they turned 18. And those continued collaborations with CTF advocating the voice of the families and SpringWorks listening and not giving up and getting out of bed every morning to do their jobs for families like mine. There's no words to say thank you for that. But what happened on Wednesday with the approval of Gomekli, we no longer have to go back to ground zero when our children turn 18. We no longer have to say, hey, kid, you're doing great. The drug you're on is working, but couple months from now, we're going to have to go back to the beginning. And I don't know what the rest of your life's going to look like because there's no option for you. Now there's an option. We have hope. We have solutions. And this groundbreaking approval, this groundbreaking work, that's the ball in motion for the rest of their lives. This is I have goosebumps. I've been smiling since Wednesday. And I just don't know how to say thank you. Thank you to my fellow NF warriors. Thank you for my fellow parents, but mostly thank you so much to the partnerships with CTF and SpringWorks and all of you that roll out of bed every morning and decide today's the day I'm going to make a difference for 2.5 million families. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know if you saw it. Oh, and I don't know if you saw it, but on the chat, approvals like this bring the world together. I read Greece, Ireland, Japan, Indonesia, Canada, USA, Hawaii, Italy, Mexico. This is bringing us together. And I also had a call this morning. We were talking about another potential collaboration between industry and academia. And George Kirk from AstraZeneca said, we worked together with everybody on that previous grant. And we, at the end, didn't know anymore who was from industry and who was from academia. We were not in boxes anymore. We were working together as one big team to make it happen. And I think this is a testament of this amazing community of clinicians, patients, pharma people, regulators, patient organizations, donors, volunteers. It's a community, and it takes a village to make things like this happen. And we are that village, and we will keep making things happen for this amazing community. So congratulations to all of us. Cheers.
And thank you, Annette. I'm Simon. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for the foundation, and we have some great news. We know a lot of folks have a lot of questions specifically about this drug. And you saw in the chat that we put a link to gomekli.com, so absolutely visit that site for direct information from SpringWorks. You can always reach out to us at info@ctf.org. We've got Kate Keltz on staff who's ready to answer questions. But even better and more importantly, Dr. Mortel has agreed to a week from today at the same exact time. So noon Eastern, February 21. Let me do a quick little screen share so you can see the information. We will do a dedicated medical/clinical, Dr. Mortel, correct me on what I should call this webinar, but as part of our knowledge series webinars that take place usually once a month that Kate Keltz runs, but we're going to have two this month. There's one dedicated to schwannomatosis, I think next week. And then we're doing this one a week from today as well. We're, as having registered, we had over 500, maybe 600 people register for today's event. We are going to send you a follow-up email with the link so you can register for next week, and that'll be the place to answer a lot of the questions that we know Dr. Mortel can add. Dr. Mortel, do you want to add anything to that? Or I guess we'll just see what you do next week with the group.
I'm looking forward to it, and thanks for the opportunity to go out to the community with this.
Thank you. I know we were going to try to get the link into the chat. I'm not sure if that's happened yet. Not yet. That's okay. So we will email that link out to you, but also follow us on our social media channels, and we'll also be sending out an email to everyone in the community for you to join that call next week. So, and Annette, back to you if you want to close this out.
No, I just also want to do a quick shout out to the team, to the CTF team, because people thank me, but I want to thank my team. I wouldn't be able to do what I do. I have 20 million ideas a second, but I have an amazing team that has also 20 million ideas a second, and that makes sure that we do what needs to be done to turn hope into action, to turn action into delivery. So thanks, team. Thanks specifically to Kate, who moved this webinar almost a month before because of this amazing news that came out earlier than foreseen. So thanks, guys. Thanks, my buddies on the CTF team, for believing and working so hard on my side to make sure that we are delivering what patients, what our clients are really looking for. So thank you so much. And let's keep going. We have one drug approved, a second drug approved. Let's keep going. Frida, we're going to hit it out of the park at the World Orphan Drug Conference. We're going to really try to advocate for more of these drugs that sometimes companies don't see commercial value, but have such a value for patients. We hope we can make a case with this specific approval, and we hope we make our dream a reality of making this a normal thing, of bringing drugs back into commercial if they have value for patients. So thanks so much. I don't know if anyone else wants to say something more, but thanks. Thanks, board. Thanks, staff.
So Annette, as we close, permit me, I just saw a note in the chat from somebody from Nigeria, and that means a lot to me, that we have one person listening from Nigeria. You have to appreciate why I had to mention that. So Juliet Okosun from Nigeria, thanks for joining.
Excellent, Uche. And we've also made a lot of new friends during this journey, and I hope our friendships will always stay. Uche, you keep pushing for NF.
Excellent.
Uche, not to put you on the spot, but I know some people are asking about when it'll be available in other countries. Obviously, we don't know the answer, but maybe if you can just share that this is US approved and that you are applying.
Yes. Yeah. It is US approved for now, and we are applying in other places. I think certainly we'll be making some public announcements as those plans materialize. If anybody has any direct question, Annette, I think it's, Simon, it's fair to either direct them to me. We have medical information services. We also have some patient support services that we can link them up with on an individual basis. But I'm happy to say that SpringWorks is certainly creating solutions, right, for every patient who has a need. In some cases, we can meet them directly. In other cases, it will be just passing and sharing information.
Thank you. I guess that's it. Anyone else from the panel want to say anything?
I just want to thank all of you who have run fundraisers or participated in a fundraiser or supported a fundraiser, because without that, we wouldn't have this. So for those of you who have, please reach out to your donors, share this information with them, say this is where your money went, whether it was $1 or $1 million. This is proof in the pudding that together we can be successful.
Excellent. Can't say it better than that. So on that, we'll say happy Valentine's Day to everyone. It's a day of love all around in many ways. For those in the United States, happy long weekend. I think most people are off on Monday, so that's also a happy day too. And thank you. Please join us a week from today at noon. The registration link is in the chat, but if you miss it, we will email it to you, and follow us on all the channels so you can stay up to date. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend.
Bye, all.